All right, so the problem about tax loss harvesting, and here's something that I bet a lot of you, myself included, never considered. Tax loss harvesting works very, very well if the timing is right. Come on, buddy, Uppy. Good boy, Uppy. Oh, yeah. So what happens if you sold? So tax loss harvesting, let me tell you what it is. All right, you bought a S&P 500 for simplicity for $100,000. Right now it's worth 80,000 bucks. You say, okay, I'm going to sell it for 80,000 bucks. I have $20,000 of losses, which I can harvest to offset against future gains. However, I like the S&P 500, so I'm going to buy it back in 30 days, it was actually 31, to avoid a wash sale. All right, so basically March 23rd, I'm selling, actually my position at $100,000 was down to 65,000 bucks. So you sold it for $65,000 on March 23rd. What was it when you bought back in on April 23rd? Well, it was back up to probably $85,000, $90,000, all right? So you missed, so you took a loss of 35,000 bucks, but you're sitting on 65,000 as opposed to 85,000, we'll just say, if you just hung tight. So now you're buying back into 85,000 bucks. So I hope that makes sense. So basically you missed out on a 20% run. That makes sense? So in order to write off that $35,000 to tax loss harvest, you now are down from, you had 100,000 bucks, now you're sitting on 65,000 bucks when the market itself is up to 85,000 bucks because a huge run up in the 30 days for which you had to hold the loss out of the market before you could buy back in if you wanted to take the loss. I hope that makes sense. It's probably better doing it on a whiteboard, but just think about it again. Let me just reiterate. 100,000 bucks down to 65,000 on March 23rd. You said, I'm selling it. I'm going to take my losses. I'll wait to get back in 31 days. We'll just say April 24th. All right, so now you're sitting on $65,000 in an asset, but you have this other asset called $35,000 of losses. All right, all in the interim, the market is going from 65,000 to 70,000 to 75,000 to 80,000 to 85,000 bucks. All right, so you locked in a $35,000 loss. That is true, but you're still sitting on 65,000 where the market is back up to 85,000. So you missed $20,000 of upside by tax loss harvesting here. Now that doesn't happen a lot, but it happens. It does happen, and that's the problem with tax loss harvesting. Is that sometimes the market goes a heck of a lot quicker than you anticipate, and those 30 days of miss opportunity, I mean, where are you now? So let's say you bought back in, the market's at 85,000 bucks. Now the market's back up to 95,000 bucks, but you only bought in at 65. You only had 65,000 to invest. So now you bought in at 65, even the market was at 85,000. So now you have 75,000 bucks. You had 100,000 and went down to 65. You had to wait for the market to give the wash sale rule of 30 days. Now you had bought in when the market had already risen 20%. And so now your 65,000 bucks is worth 75,000 bucks, where it could have been worth 85 to 90,000 bucks. See, that's the problem with tax loss harvesting. It sounds good in theory, but sometimes it can bite you in the butt. Now, Roth conversions are different. This is the benefit of Roth conversions, because Roth conversions, you don't need to sell. That's why I was doing the videos back 3-4 months ago saying now do Roth conversions with in-kind transfers. Don't sell, wait T+3 for settling, and then buy back in, because A, you probably won't do that. And B, just you don't want to lose position, because on any given day the market can just explode like happened on Friday. So it's frustrating, because what happens here is if you do Roth conversions and you keep the shares in kind, well, there's a little bit more difficulty than I'd hoped in terms of Vanguard and Schwab and stuff. You still were able to keep the positions in kind. So as long as you're able to keep the positions in kind, you're fine. You're without having to sell. That means you're not having to be out of the market. Not quite as seamless as I'd like, but it still worked real well for people who did it. The issue is if you sell and you're out of the market and you have to wait 30 days to get back in. Those 30 days could be enormously profitable for folks. And if you missed out on it, you're at 75,000 bucks. Where if you just would have hung tight, you're at 95,000 or 90,000 or whatever it is. But you miss a significant gain in the last 30 days. And that's the problem with tax loss harvesting. All right, love to hear your thoughts. Let me know. Thanks.